Let's talk about the Houston Rockets, their surprising season as the 2 seed, their early playoff exit, the fantasy values of the guys on their team. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I just discovered the side of the internet where they're researching fart maxing. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms, so hit the thumb up on the video, double bang, leave your comments, all that stuff. We've got the live draft show coming up Wednesday, the 25th of June, 8 p.m. Eastern. Coincidentally, that's at the same time that the draft is on, so you don't even have to remember it. Just when the draft's on, just know that I'll be going live on YouTube, and you can join me over there. It is International Take Your Dog to Work Day, and I would, but my dog refused. He quit. He won't come in. He's sitting in the other room. As soon as I bring the microphone down off the boom here, in front of my face, he's like, hey, I'm out. There's no one listening to this bullshit. And he's gone. So I can't bring him to work, unfortunately, for me or for you or for whoever cares. But what I can do is talk about the Houston Rockets. So let's do that. Let's talk about this Houston Rockets team. I did expect that they'd have a big step forward this season, not to this level or not becoming the 2 seed. They ended up with a 52-30 record. I thought that they'd be able to beat the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. Honestly, they didn't. They still pushed them pretty far, and I think that they're going to... Obviously, they still need to make tweaks. Their offense still has some concerns. There are shooting issues that can get bogged down, but defensively, they're awesome, and their coaching and the mentality of the squad all fits together really well. Now, it's getting that next step. They do have a premium pick to be able to do that. Pick number 10 they have in this draft, because they were able to make that trade along with the Brooklyn Nets to get the Suns' first-round picks in those deals. So they gave the Nets picks back, and they get pick number 10. We'll see what they're able to do with that, but we also know that this team is relatively stacked. So whoever gets picked at number 10, unless there are trades that go down with Houston, that guy's just not going to play. We've seen that for many of these young guys. He's probably just not going to see the floor very much at all. They've also got pick number 59, which we all very much are well aware won't do anything really at any point. In terms of free agents, a couple of guys with non-guaranteed deals. Jock Landale, he's got a non-guarantee on his contract. It's fully non-guaranteed. Same with Jonathan Williams, Nate Williams Jr. Don't know how you want to refer to him because he's referred to different ways in different places. Neither of those guys are key pieces of this team, so I don't think that it's all that important, those decisions they make there. The important one is the next one. It's the team options. They've got 2 team options on 2 of their point guards. The number 1 there is Fred VanVleet, and it's $45 million. I don't think that anyone who watched Fred VanVleet last season or that had Fred VanVleet on their fantasy team would suggest that he's a $45 million player. Yes? I also think there are plenty of other things that we need to talk about with that, because you can say, well, he's not worth $45 million. Let's decline the team option. Great. Whatever. That's okay. How do you replace it? Is Reed Shepherd ready for full-time minutes? Is Amen Thompson their full-time point guard? Because it just means you lose a player who, again, Fred was not very good. Like, he was fine. He wasn't as good as he's been in the past. But you lose that player. You lose the salary slot. You lose all of that. So how do you replace it? Do you bring VanVleet back on a cheaper contract? Let's say 2 years, $70 million, whatever it is. And then if he does come back, then you still bet in that same position where he's going to start and other players are going to fit around it. So, as with so much with the NBA and salary caps and roster building decisions, it's never just as like, Fred VanVleet's not worth $45 million, decline the option, we're ready to go. It doesn't work that way. Because that doesn't give you $45 million to spend on another player. It doesn't work that way. So as a general thing, yeah, Fred's not worth that. That'll probably be declined, and he'll probably be re-signed at a different amount, a cheaper amount, but he'll still be on the team. I'd say that's an 85% chance of happening. Then you bring in the possibility, I guess, of sign-in trades and how all that stuff works. I don't think that's going to be part of it, but that is another thing that happens. It is just important to remember, Fred's not worth 45. But if you decline the team option, don't bring it back, you don't get 45 to spend. And that's where some of these things where you go, why would they re-sign him? Or whatever they do, it's because of that. Aaron Holiday is one of their other point guards. He's got a $4.9 million player option. Team option. I think they might bring him back. Like, he's fine as a third string point guard. But they would hope that Reed Shepherd is very clearly ahead of him this season. You got some restricted guys. Two of the two-way guys, Jack McVeigh and N'Faly Dante. I don't think McVeigh necessarily will be back. He barely played. Dante, I think there are some flashes from him. A long way away still from being a contributor, but I'd look to bring him back if I was them. And then two guys, again, who are not really a part of the rotation that much. It's Uncle Jeff Green as an unrestricted free agent, and the wild thing, Jae'Sean Tate, who at times has had some moments, and he's a great example of one of these phenomena we talk about in fantasy or just in the NBA. Is that, like, in Tate's rookie year, everyone was so excited. Oh my god, look at this guy! He's putting up these numbers. This is great. Like, that's at least signing. But remember that he played this role on a team that was bad. The numbers were okay, but we always look at it and go, well done. Love that from you, Jae'Sean. We absolutely need to be better. We need a better player in this position, and the numbers went down, and he's out of the rotation. The team got better. He's done. He's not a part that makes the team better. He was in a spot where the minutes were there, and he did his job, and now he's out of there. I don't know whether he returns or not. He still can be an okay rotation level player, but it's that key thing of, like, are you doing something on a bad team, and the team will always be looking at you and going, we need more, and then your numbers drop. And that's exactly what happened to Jae'Sean Tate on this Rockets team. Without, I think that's relatively self-explanatory. Let's talk VanVleet, because it is self-explanatory that he was not good. He was almost, I'd say, probably my biggest miss this season for fantasy. VanVleet has been a really stable and solid contributor for the last few years. His minutes have been huge. He went from a Nick Nurse team to an Ime Udoka team, and the minutes stayed really high. We knew that he's a bad shooter. That's been something that's been his thing for a while in terms of his overall field goal percentage. We factored that stuff in. But it was way worse. 78th ranked player this season. Like, that's really bad. I had him 26th in the preseason. That's just a huge miss. And the reasons there, I think, are relatively obvious. Also, his second half of the season, terrible. 130th ranked player. He fell off completely. He played fewer minutes. He's 31. He played 35 minutes. He'd been playing 37, 38. And it's not because, and there were some people, and sometimes I think, I'm a process guy when we talk fantasy or evaluations or whatever. I'm a process guy. There would have been many people, listeners, analysts, players, whoever, who said, I am not drafting Fred VanVleet where Josh says, or where the ADP, what was his ADP actually? 39. I'm not drafting him at that spot. They just drafted Reed Shepherd. Of course, Reed Shepherd's going to cut into VanVleet's minutes, and he might even start over him, right? So you faded VanVleet. You got the right result with the wrong process. And how you want to view that as a way of analyzing success or failure, whatever, that's okay. But, like, that's the wrong process. The reason VanVleet sucked is not because Reed Shepherd was there. Not at all. Nothing to do with that. The reason VanVleet was bad this season is they took the ball out of his hands. He averaged 5.5 assists. His shooting from 3 went to 34%. He'd always been a bad field goal guy, 40, 39, 41. But he's not a bad three-point shooter. His steal numbers dropped. His deflection rate dropped, 71st percentile. His usage dropped, 18%. The worry that I have now with VanVleet is he is a very small guard. If he saw a marker on the wall that said 6 foot, he's looking up at it, right? He's small. And cliffs for those sub-elite small point guards, they get hit hard. VanVleet is still a pretty good defender, really good defender. He did drop off a lot, but the usage falling down, the assists and passing volume is still high, but like it's not where it was. The deflection's dropping. The shooting dropping. The only one of those that I really feel confident that there can be improvement is 3-point percentage. And maybe he has a 37% season. So, very wrong on him. I don't know if I said this. I probably should have, but I might have said it. I'm not sure. Whether I said, I believe there will be a sharp decline in VanVleet because of the size and the age. I don't think it'll come yet, but I think it'll come soon. And I was obviously just slow on that. So I would not be expecting a big bounce back here from Fred. There are some things that can improve, but the only one I think is realistic is 3-point percentage. I don't know that assists go back up. I'm pretty sure that minutes won't go back up. Now, he did have a couple of ankle injuries that he came back from and kept re-injuring them, and that was a bit of a concern. But he's had multiple lower body injuries as well. So, VanVleet, while he was 78th for the season, 88th in points leagues, I don't know where it will come out, but I think when I project him, he might not be even in the top 90, is my guess. And that's a big fall from where I had him. He fell off hard, and I've got to be careful that I'm not reactive to that and say, well, he burnt me last time, I've got to drop him way down. It's more just looking at the realities of things, because people can have bad seasons, and then you can see the reasons why and how it easily bounces back. I don't see it here. And that's going to make it tough to get value. I don't think that he's going to bring that back, to be honest. Today's episode is brought to you by Car Gurus. Yeah, Car Gurus. Selling a car and shopping for a car. It should be an exciting thing. It doesn't need to be an exhausting process, but it can be. There are confusing prices, hidden fees. It can all feel very overwhelming, and that is why Car Gurus is the site that you're going to love. It helps you cut through the noise and shows you the best deals with full confidence. With over 4 million listings, Car Gurus has more new and used car than any online marketplace in the US. They verify dealers, provide real price analysis. They give you the tools and the data that you need to make the right choice without second guessing yourself. They've got price drop alerts as well, so you know exactly when the perfect car is available in your budget. It's no wonder that SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows that Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That is cargurus.com, cargurus.com. All right, so we went into, this is the Rockets and their over 25 players we're looking at here. So we went into a bit of depth on Fred VanVleet because this is quite a young team. So a lot of these over 25s, the only one who's realistically a 12-team league player is VanVleet. We've got two other important players. One of them a starter that we're going to talk about, and then a bunch of other sort of guys around. But VanVleet's the main guy. Dillon Brooks is an interesting player. I was very worried about him receiving this large contract from Houston and him coming into Houston and going, right, look at all this money. I'm ready to cook. Give me all the shots and take the bad shots. He didn't do it. He came in and said, right, I'm going to play my role and shut my mouth. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happened, but it has happened. Under 18 usage. He averaged 14 points a game. He averaged 2.5 threes. He shot 40% from 3. Honestly, incredibly good for what Dillon Brooks is. He does what he needs to do. And there are going to be always calls. It always happens. We need more Cam Whitmore. Just bench Dillon Brooks. Why is Amen Thompson not starting at the start of the season? Bench Dillon Brooks. Reed Shepherd should be playing. We'll just bench Dillon Brooks. I don't think it works that way. Because Brooks fills a role. He does the thing that he needs to do. And he's been really, really good at it. Has he been good for fantasy? Not really. 209th ranked player for the season. He was 167th in points leagues. Except, what we did see this season, and there's no guarantee this is a repeatable thing, but he would have like a 5-game run where he'd be great. And then he'd disappear again. And I was like, oh, he's had a couple of good ones in a row here. Maybe we stream him in. Even though he's a 32-minute a night player, he's a poor per minute producer. 14, 3.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.8 steals, 82 from the line, but low attempts. It's not bad. It's fine. It's usable, but it's nothing exciting. And there's nothing I look at that and go, well, we're going to see something really explode here from Dillon Brooks at the age of 29. The one thing I would say, though, is maybe 1.3 steals, which is half a steal more than what he currently is. Maybe that's possible. But overall, I just think that Dillon Brooks fills his role. He plays it perfectly. He's out there. He's defending. He's providing that sort of guy that they need alongside the other players. And I don't know that changes. I don't know that those 32 minutes then move to 28. It could, much like VanVleet struggled and lost a couple of minutes. Maybe it does for Brooks. But I don't think it will. I think we're just going to be in for another season of a similar sort of level of production, which will have value at times where the schedule works. If someone else is out, if Brooks gets hot, if we're getting desperate for hey, maybe someone can pop in 5 threes out of nowhere. That's what he does. But he doesn't do anything else. And the thing is that he's going to be there as a more of a fantasy handicap in terms of he's there, he's playing 32 minutes, he's not producing value, but it's stopping anyone else from producing that value. And I don't really see a reason why that would change. The thing that is interesting about what might change on this team, like we talked about VanVleet, but Steven Adams was scheduled to be a free agent, but he signed another contract extension, and he is back. There was real worries after missing so much time with that knee injury that maybe he just was never going to come back. And then he would come back and he'd play like every second game at the start this season, not even necessarily just sitting back-to-back, just randomly not playing. He ended up averaging just 14 minutes a night, and he was the 323rd ranked player. That's not good, obviously. It's not a useful fantasy guy. 32 minutes a night. But he absolutely cooked in the playoffs. He was so important to this team, and even down the stretch where they started to go double big. Adams and Şengün together. Steven Adams is he's Dillon Brooks, isn't he? Like, in terms of a guy that fills the role that he needs to fill. He's not Dillon Brooks in terms of likability. Everyone loves Steven Adams. But in terms of he's out there, one of his biggest things is like, if Steven Adams is on the court, you don't mess with anybody. Not that he's ever done anything dirty, but like, have a look at him. He's huge. And he just does the things. He gets the rebounds. He sets the screens. He clears out. He boxes out. He does all of that. So one of the things we'll look at with Adams is like 14 minutes a night. Cool. Is that going to be 20? And if they go to more double big, can he push to 22? And in 22 minutes, could Steven Adams be a 7.5 rebound player? Because he averaged 6 rebounds in 14 minutes. His field goals are never going to be big. His block numbers are usually not big, although 0.5 blocks in 14 minutes for him is actually a pretty good number. But you'll notice his rim contest deflection numbers are really low. He's not an offensive guy. He was just important. And in terms of when we look at this rotation for next season, because it's going to be a relatively stable squad, because the guys they could lose, Jeff Green, Jae'Sean Tate, they weren't even rotation players. So if Adams plays more minutes, somebody is playing fewer minutes. So while we wouldn't necessarily be looking at Adams as much more than a rebound streamer in certain situations, there is, given that they've nursed him back to health, the double big lineup works really well. Who loses out if he pushes forward? Is it Şengün? Jabari? Tari? Amen? Dillon? Jalen? Don't know. Lots of different ways that Udoka can go, but remember, when we're talking about if the Rockets bring somebody in or what changes, there's maybe 8 more minutes that Adams could play per game. Maybe. He only played 14. So when we're trying to calculate the 240 game with this squad, Adams is going to be a part of it, and he's probably going to be doing more. His backup, Adams' backup, who is already Şengün's backup, is the big fella Jock Landale, who, when the Rockets need Landale to play, he usually puts up pretty good numbers. He can be semi-streamable for fantasy, but we are so far down the pecking order. He's got that non-guarantee on his $5 million contract as well. He averaged 5 and 3. He shot 53 from the field, and also he shot 42% from 3. 30 minutes of Jock Landale. Like, for example, Jock Landale used to play for the Suns. If Jock Landale still played for the Suns, and is he better than Nick Richards? For fantasy, yeah, 100% he is. So it'd almost be a Jae'Sean Tate though, where if Jock Landale was your starting center, sorry to Jock, Australian legend, you'd be going, oh, that's great, but like, we probably need to upgrade somewhere. But those sort of situations and those players can give you 1 to 2 years of fantasy value. But he's blocked here. I don't know that he'll be on the Rockets. I don't know that he'll stay in the NBA. He should. I don't know that he will. And he's got some of that permitted appeal. He was worse this season than he'd been in the past, in my mind. He only played 12 minutes, and it's just, he's 30 years old now, Landale. I don't really see where the upside or the appeal comes, or dynasty value or anything like that. It's more about, like, could he randomly just find an opportunity if he gets cut on another team and then someone gets hurt early in the season, then he elevates? It's possible. His game is okay, but it did drop. He's 30. That's expected. We'll come back and talk about the rest of these over 25s in a sec. Today's episode, though, is also brought to you by Wayfair. There's nothing better than when you step out into your own outdoor space and you've escaped. It's a personal oasis out there. You want to feel like you feel relaxed. And that's why now it's the perfect time to update your patio this season. Wayfair has made it easy to turn that space into an area that feels like yours, comfortable, stylish, and ready for the summer. Fire pits, hot tubs, gazebos, outdoor bars, perfect string lights, conversation sets. It's all there at Wayfair, giving you the decor, the styling, and the budget that you need to get it done. What's your style? Are you a modern, clean, minimalist? Do you like a little bit of eccentricity? Maybe we're looking at like old Victorian. I don't know. Wayfair has styles and everything you need for whatever budget level you're looking for. So don't wait. Make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair and enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop the huge outdoor selection. That is wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style and every... I did it. No. I just again. Wayfair, every style, every home. Professional. All right, we're talking Houston Rockets. We're talking over 25s. There will be a second show with the under 25s, which will be Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepherd, Alperen Şengün, all of those guys. Let's just roll out the rest of this roster here. Aaron Holiday, again, someone who's had some moments as a backup point guard at times, but now with VanVleet and Amen and Reed, don't really know where he fits. He's also older. He's 29. He averaged 5 points with 1.3 assists. Udoka would start him in games when VanVleet would be out and Amen was already starting. They wouldn't go to Shepherd, but that could easily flip over. He's got that non-guarantee on his deal on a $5 million contract. He is a totally fine, reliable, emergency point guard piece at this point in his career. Shot 40% from three. Great from the line. Fantastic. Love it. Really good stuff. But there's no excitement. There's no upside. You've got other options that potentially could replace him. He could be back. I think that he would find a spot on another team. Like, for example, the Orlando Magic, for some reason, were rolling with Corey Joseph. Yeah? You'd much rather have Aaron Holiday than Corey Joseph, I think, as that emergency point guard that if he has to step up, you go, oh, it's not great, but it's going to be fine. It's not going to be bad. Let's talk about the wild thing, Jae'Sean Tate, because, like I said, a few years ago, he was someone that people used in fantasy leagues and they were excited about him and look at the passing numbers and the great steals and all that stuff, but he's not it. Like, we've seen as a team gets competitive and your coach isn't Steven Silas, the need for Jae'Sean Tate isn't there. He shot 35% from three, which for him is sort of a bit of a W. But he can't hit free throws. I don't rely upon his shot. The steal numbers are down. The passing of that point forward role that he used to do is not there. Deflection numbers, fine. Actually, I said the steals are down. They're not. They're actually okay. He played 11 minutes. He was out of the rotation. Don't know that he'll be back. He could make sense on plenty of teams. But the risk is, you know the player. It's that small forward, power forward who guards in many spots, who steps up out of nowhere and has this role. Jay Crowder, Torrey Craig, and then they're unplayable. And that's where I do fear we are with Tate. On a bad team, like, fine, you could see a rotation role, but there's too many negatives in the overall profile to get excited. Jeff Green, legendary leader, been around forever, we know this. Not sure that he returns to this team. Maybe he does. It doesn't really matter. He's not going to play. He's been playing a lot of backup center, and there's a number of players there. He plays the four. There are a number of players there. We saw 12 minutes in 32 games from Green this season. He still shot 37% from three. He still can throw it down somehow. Like, his numbers are still okay, but nobody is ever going to want him to be in a big role. It's just not going to happen. And it's been a great career, even though, like, at times you don't even think about how good his career has been. But it has been good to be around for that long. Let's talk about Nate Williams Jr. He's been in the Rockets system, I feel like, about 4 years. So that's two-way contracts. He's one of those guys that when players go down, he can step up into larger roles. But look, he averaged 3 points in 7 minutes. He was the 481st ranked player. He shot 23% on threes. I think that he's 26 already. I think the Nate Williams turning into a rotation player experiment is probably done. I don't really, like, he seems like a guy that the Rockets really like as a player and as a person. Defensively, he can be okay, but overall, He's just not someone that's pushing for any role. And then the last guy we're going to talk about in this over 25 section is Jack McVeigh, who was signed as a two-way guy out of the NBL here in Australia, played in the Olympics for Australia, was considered a knockdown shooter type. It didn't happen here. He played 9 games. He played 5 minutes a game. He shot 31% from 3. He's already 29. I would say there's no shot that he's back in the NBA or with the Rockets. I think he'll be back in the NBL. And I just needed to cover him because it's just the completion of the team. So we saw nothing from McVeigh. I don't think he'll be back. Good for him to get a chance in the NBA, play and be a part of a really good team. But I don't think that that's it for him. I do think that's it for him. And that's it for me in this show. So the next one we do is going to be the under 25s, like I said, Amen, Jabari, Şengün, Jalen. Lots of interesting stuff coming in that one. And subscribe. That means you'll never miss one of those episodes, and I would appreciate you not missing them. And then we'll catch you soon. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.